Hey guys, welcome into today's video. This is going to be a brand new series on my channel. It's going to be a foundation a day for 42 days. The reason that I wanted to start this video is that I have 51 foundations in my permanent collection. It's the number 2 item, maybe number 1 right now, of makeup that I really like testing. I'm really into testing new foundations. It switches back and forth usually between blush, eyeshadow, and foundation, my 3 favorite makeup categories, probably a lot of people's favorite makeup categories. But 51 foundations is just too much for me to have in my collection. I recently did a makeup declutter, and I will link that up in the cards, where I went through my whole collection and I decluttered, breaking some of my makeup into 3 different categories: keep, declutter, and then I made up a third, which was items that I want to keep for reference but I'm going to take out of my permanent collection and move into the closet, where I keep makeup that I think is popular, relevant, things that I may want to reference in future videos but that I don't want to use in my personal everyday life. But I did not do that with foundation. And recently I've gone through a really big skin change. In the last 8 months to a year, I have gone from really dry skin to very oily skin, and a lot of foundations that used to work for me that were more on the dewy natural finish side just aren't working these days. So I'm grabbing and loving more matte foundations. So some of my foundations in my collection predate my skin change. So the reason for this series, I don't want to just declutter foundations based on memory. I want to retest a lot of them because some of them are pretty expensive, some of them I may re-love, some of them I may not like or may not work for me now, and it's time to make that determination. So while I have 51 foundations in my collection, this is foundation a day for 42 days because there are 9 foundations I have already made a decision on. Some of them I'm actually testing, they haven't gone into speed reviews, but I've worn them very recently, so I know exactly how I feel about them, but I will have to move them into wherever they're gonna go, keep, declutter, or in the reference pile. And then there are some that I'm testing that I already absolutely love, haven't gone into a speed reviews, and I know that I'm going to be keeping them. And then 2 of them I have already made the decision that I'm going to declutter. Welcome to day 11 of the foundation a day for 42 days. This is a little bit of an impromptu video. I had a little bit of time to film before my son's Saturday morning tumbling class, so I thought I would sneak this in here because Saturdays are usually a really good day to do a wear test for me. I've been wanting to do this foundation for a little while. It's the Rituel de Fille 3-drop Weightless Serum Foundation because I kind of want to put it back into my rotation. I'm pretty sure I'm going to jinx myself here and I'm going to say this one's going to end up being kept, but you never know. I always seem to change my mind at the end of these wear tests, and that's why these wear tests I think are important. So let's talk a little bit about this and then I'll tell you what I remember about it. So this comes in 24 shades. It retails for $42. I have mine in the shade Potion number 120. It is described as buildable medium coverage with a glowy natural finish. It's supposed to have lightweight oils. It has subtle scents of jojoba and marula oils. It is vegan, cruelty-free. It comes in 1 fluid ounce and it has a 12-month shelf life. And this one was made in the USA. This foundation is one of the more unique foundations in my collection. When it says 3 drops, you guys, I have tested this. I've done a dedicated video on this foundation using 3 drops back when I had really dry skin, but it was too dry for me. Even though it does look like a natural glowy finish kind of immediately, it tends to get a little bit drier as the day goes on. And then I've tested it with 1.5 drops. 1.5 drops, you guys saw what it looks like in 1.5 drops. You just take the bottom, you press it onto the back of your hand. 1.5 drops took me my entire complexion and was just the perfect amount. So now that my skin is more like combo oily, I want to say combo kind of this time of year, but still I get so oily right here. Nothing seems to stay on me unless I use a mattifying primer and a mattifying setting spray. Then I can usually get like a more full coverage, like longer lasting foundation to stay on me for 10 hours. Other than that, usually doesn't. This one, now that I'm more dry skin, stays on me pretty darn well throughout the day. I have tested this, I want to say it's a couple of months ago at this point. I'm pretty sure I want to keep it in my collection. If you haven't seen any of these videos, you guys, the way that I apply this is one side with a brush, one side with a clean sponge. I finish my complexion, my makeup, all that stuff. We do one final check-in then, and then I go about the wear test, and then we come back and sit down. I usually am getting here about 10 hours after, really just at the end of my day, so that I can show you guys what the foundation looks like. So what I want to do today is literally 1 drop, just this amount, on one side of my face. That's all I'm going to do, I think, right now. And I'm going to take a brush and see how far this travels. It's really all you need. It gets heavier, I think, as you continue to blend it in. I just don't think you need a whole 3 drops. So that's pretty much it. I mean, it's got a natural glowy finish, but it also has like a mattifying quality about it. It's very strange. All right, another 1 drop on this side. I actually might, I don't know, I don't think I'm gonna do more. I think that's it. And that is all, folks. You guys saw how very little. I do not want to go in heavier with this, even though I'm tempted to. It's plenty coverage. Honestly, it starts looking like more full coverage, of course, when I add the concealer and I powder my T-zone, and that's all I want to do. 1 fluid ounce. This will last you a lifetime. There's no way with 2 drops for your whole complexion, or 3 if you like fuller coverage, which they do say is a very adjustable foundation, so you can get more full coverage out of this the more drops you use. Honestly, I do not recommend that. Right now, my complexion is looking naturally radiant and glowy. I feel like it perfects my skin a little bit too. Like, it doesn't emphasize texture, and I really like that. Like they say, the scent is pretty subtle, but you can smell the oils in it and it will start to separate. It's one of my more oily foundations. All right, let me finish the rest of my complexion and we'll do one final check-in before the wear test. All right, makeup is completely done. The foundation looks stunning on my skin. It just seems to smooth it out, and I'm so glad I just decided to do 1 drop, because after putting concealer and powder on, it always adds a bit more coverage for me, and I feel like this is honestly the perfect amount. I don't think you need more than 1 drop for either side of the face, and when I'm usually doing my whole complexion, I'll do 1.5 drops. I honestly prefer it more with a sponge. I've tried it with both. I've done my whole complexion with a brush and with a sponge, and I just feel like using a dampened, fluffier sponge just looks a little bit more airbrushed, kind of stamps this into the skin. Right now, that's really my only recommendation. I will go do a natural light check-in for you guys. I'll do it again at 4 hours, and then we'll come back at the end of the night. Welcome back to 8 o'clock at night. I am so pleased. Let me just start with, I've touched up nothing. I wanna say, I put this on, it was like right before 9 o'clock this morning. So it's been 11 hours, just under 11 hours, which again, if you've seen any of my other videos, I do say like, that's a decent full day's wear test for me, because when I'm working and I'm a mom of 2 kids and I work full time, that's typically like my full day's wear test. I don't reapply my foundation. I might powder on top of it, but I didn't do that with this foundation. And I was outside. It did get a little bit humid, but we were out in the sun. We were goofing around with the kids. We went out to eat. We were running around. So I got to put it to the elements a little bit. It's not exactly the standard Florida humidity. Let me show you guys the check-in that I did in natural light right away, right after application. I think that was like my favorite. I just loved the way my complexion looked at that moment. I didn't love it as much in the natural light. Like, it was bright sunlight down by the water at the 4-hour mark. I kind of feel like it had faded off a little bit more than I was hoping for. But let me say, I have touched up nothing except my eyebrows, because those came off like a little bit, because I even did lay down for a little while. And then I threw on a lip oil right before I started filming. But other than that, I have not touched up anything. I have not repowdered. This is an easy keep for me. It's not my longest lasting, but it still looks pretty decent on me. I may end up making some final decisions at the end of this 42 days of foundation wear test. The Rituel de Fille it just looks pretty. It's just solid. I think that it's probably better for people with oily skin. I mean, I kind of want to say that, but also at the same time, I feel like you can go in with 1 drop and it would be beautiful for people with dry skin or more mature skin. I want to say I can kind of recommend this because it's such adjustable coverage to a lot of different skin types. I'm just pleased with it overall, but do not use 3 drops. That is my unprofessional recommendation. I don't think 3 drops looks good. I think this is the perfect amount. I think 3 drops looked cakey, heavy, terrible, noticeable, not good. So because we are on day 11, I have kept 5. I have decluttered 5. This will be keep 6, declutter 5. I'm happy about it. I like it. Wearing foundations like this and coming back at the end of the night having touched up nothing else makes me rethink some of the other wear tests that I've done. So we might do a final tally at the end of this. You guys, it is easily going to take me to the end of the year to finish testing all the foundations in my collection, but I want to pare it down. The goal is right in half. Even then, that's probably still too many. We may make some decisions based on the time that I've had some of them, the shelf life, all of that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you were interested in this and that's how you landed on this video, you guys, I can recommend it. Just go in with a lighter layer. If you're not currently subscribed, I would love to see you guys subscribe so you can stick around for days 12 through 42 of foundation a day for 42 days. I'm out of here, you guys, and I hope to catch you all in my next video.